No, today I want to really talk to all the true EverQuest fans because this is one of the things that always bugs me when I think about EverQuest fans and where we're headed and where we'll be in the next 20 years and things like that. Now, there is a difference, in my opinion, between somebody who grew up playing EverQuest, is addicted to it, and it's the only game they play, and they really don't play other games. And they might try other games. They might spend a week playing other games, but then they'll always come back to EverQuest because it feels like home, right? Those are the kind of people that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the kid in their 20s who discovered EverQuest at a later date and then decided they really like it and it's a really cool game. And then they go play WoW and they like WoW and they want to see where WoW came from. I'm not talking about those people necessarily. Now, I'm not discounting those people when I say this, though, either. I'm not trying to put those in super separate camps because they can have the same feelings about this topic. But when I think about the fans and I think about where we're headed and I think about everything, it really does bother me that if someone was to come up with a better EverQuest game, it feels like the majority of EverQuest players will never stop. They won't abandon EverQuest. And the problem with that is if the person who owns EverQuest is who they are right now, then they'll never make any more EverQuest. It will die how it is now. Because we've seen from the expansions that they can't make a new game. Because if they can't make an expansion to the old game, they're not going to make a great game on their own, right? And we've seen what happens when true EverQuest fans get a sequel. Okay? They do not like it. They do not like EverQuest 2. Now, you might be saying, well, EverQuest 2 was not perfect. And that's true. EverQuest 2 wasn't perfect. So if they made a better EverQuest, a better original EverQuest, would people actually go and play it is the problem. And I think no. I think if another company made an EverQuest-like game, a lot of players would not abandon and would not move over. And I think that's a problem. But I think there's enough newer MMO people who are going back to try EverQuest now that it's given us kind of this revival arc. And I think that they want something similar, but they don't want EverQuest. So I think really the hardcore EverQuest fans, just like the original developers of EverQuest, are getting old, they're dying, they're moving away from EverQuest completely, and they don't want something not EverQuest branded. So if they see it says EverQuest, maybe they'll try it, but maybe they won't like it and they'll just end up going back to the original. Maybe that was the real problem with EverQuest 2, because when I ask people who play EverQuest 2 now, right, that haven't been addicted to EverQuest for 10 years or whatever it is, they'll say that they don't really mind it that much. It's not great, but it's not bad either. They find that the original is harder to play, and so that does have this whole barrier. Like, in my opinion, you need about a month playing the original EverQuest to really get in there and feel it and really play it and not be overwhelmed by it. Sometimes there is like a breaking point when you start a new MMO. If you don't get to that breaking point, if like you give up before then, you'll never go back to that. I mean, you might go back to it, but you won't ever enjoy it because you have to learn a certain amount of information for you to enjoy it. And the problem is that the amount of information that you have to learn for EverQuest is higher than average, I would say. And it doesn't have all of those things that people ask for, okay? People ask for, better UI. People ask for, better maps. People ask for... There's a ton of stuff that even original players ask for that they don't understand why the company can't just do. And I guess my big point here, because it seems a little drawn out, is if someone were to make a new MMO for EverQuest, would people really, honestly, truly play it? Because I think we're doomed to a cycle where the hardcore original, I say original people, I mean, I'm not talking about people that were there day one, but I am talking about the people who have dedicated, like myself, more than their, I mean, when I think about how many years I've played, I think, my God, I must have played this 1/3 of my life, my whole life, my entire life, if not more. When I really think about how much I've played, it's like probably even half of my entire life has been spent on EverQuest or EverQuest adjacent stuff like EQOA, like EverQuest 2, you know? And when I have tried other EverQuest stuff, I'm not just saying this as a way to attack people, because I know that some people might misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm one of those people. I've spent so much time playing EverQuest, and I enjoy it, and I like what it is. And I wish there was a way that we could move forward, but I feel like something in us won't let us do it. There's something in us that the EverQuest games have that can't be replicated anymore, because those people are either gone, dead, given up, not at the studio anymore. You say whatever. And there's something in those games that is, quite frankly, it's not moving. It's not moving forward. And I don't know what that thing is either. Even as a player who's played this long, I don't know what that thing is. Because if it was just, oh, I really like the classes. Oh, I really like the way you level up. Anyone could have recreated that by now, and we would have abandoned EverQuest and moved to that because it was newer, better UI, better maps, all this stuff. And honestly, people would have liked EverQuest 2 more. But they didn't. So there's obviously something even wrong with titles that aren't EverQuest 1, the original. Even what you're seeing here, this gameplay is from EQOA. I love EQOA. I wish that this had been bigger. I wish that this didn't have failed. Now, you can play today on Sandstorm, and I think you should. If you are an EverQuest person and you've never heard of EQOA and you never got the chance to play it, you need to play it. It is one of the best, easiest experiences with EverQuest that you'll ever have. It's set 400 years before the actual EverQuest original game, and it is a very good game, and they're trying really hard to replicate it. So I guess I'm talking to the void here, but I really do want people's opinions on this topic, because I think the issue that we're going to run into, I know that some people have said, oh, why can't they do EverQuest but in Unreal 5? Make it look really good. It's like, is looking really good what makes you play EverQuest? Would a better looking EverQuest make you want to play EverQuest? Because I'm sorry, we saw EverQuest Next, and it looked like Fortnite. Let's be honest. It did not look good to me. Okay? That game did not look hardcore fantasy. That game did not look like, when I think of Frank Frazetta, and I think of Conan, and I think of the kind of art style that I would love for that to get into a game like EverQuest and fully be, the old EverQuest art and the way that looked, is that really what's going to make you play? Because I've seen that said so many times by people. I have seen that said so many times by people saying, well, if only we could just make it look better than I think maybe the older players, what they mean is, if it looked better, we'd have new players coming and playing, which I think that that's true. That's totally true. Yeah. If you had players coming to EverQuest because it looked better, then we'd have newer players playing, and it would revive everything. Because right now, we're in a state where most of us old players have too many accounts. Most of us old players, if you're married, have an uncomfortable talk maybe every year during tax time about how you're going to spend so much money on all those accounts with your wife. Okay? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Some people do. Okay? Maybe some people don't. But I'm saying, when are we going to accept that if we don't change and accept change, that maybe we won't have EverQuest in the future? And I think that the company that owns EverQuest right now is stagnating. I mean, that's what I feel like. I feel like they are not trying to push in the right direction. And I think we're getting stuck in a cycle where it's like, yeah, they're putting out expansions, but for who? Who likes these expansions? Who said, wow, thank you? Expansions are so good. No, they just want you to spin up a new progression server. You know what I mean? They just want you to spin up a new progression server, and then they want, like, honestly, I think most players would actually love it to be up until a certain point and then locked and stop progressing. Because progression servers also die. And I think that's mainly when a new progression server comes online. But, I it's a hard question, right? This video is a hard thought experiment because it involves so many pieces, and I feel like when I talk to players that have played for a long time, and it always seems to be that they don't really know. And even I don't really know. But you look at private servers that actually did well, that changed the EverQuest game and got people playing. Okay? Well, that server's gone now. The hero's journey is gone. Unfortunately, they lost the legal battle and they're gone. Okay? That one got players like me and older players to actually move to it and play. So they did something that hasn't been done before. But what bothers me is I don't think that you can do that without the EverQuest branding. And that's where I worry, because clearly that's not going to work sustainably in the future. With this case, they've taken down one of the private servers. It's only a matter of time before they remove all private servers that try to do the same thing, right? Because there could be more. There could be more that try to do the same thing and try to give that same experience. They're not going to be, obviously they're not going to succeed, but players gave their time over to this new game, and it was EverQuest. Though, that's the problem. This private server had been built on EverQuest 1. So, of course, we were more likely to go and play it. But if you're making a new game, you can't do that. And if you're making a new game without the rights to EverQuest, you can't call it EverQuest. And if you're making a new game and you don't have the rights to EverQuest, you can only make it so similar before realistically, okay, you're gonna get stepped on in court. Because, yeah, certain things aren't copyrighted, But when you're blatantly ripping off of a game, yeah, there's certain things that you can and can't do. It's not just about art style, it's about the game. And I think where we're at as a community, I'm trying to figure out, are we doomed? Are we doomed to repeat the same cycles, and are we ever going to basically just grow up and say, okay, EverQuest is dying. What's next? What's next? Because I think we're here. I think we all feel it. I think we know that we're playing on borrowed time. I think when you look at the earning reports from Daybreak, and they're saying, oh well, this private server is crippling us to the tune of however fucking much money it was. You have to wonder, how long can they keep that going then? If a private server was able to absolutely chunk 30% of their company, to the point where they like, okay, we have to file or we have to lose our game. We have to start firing employees. So, I mean, that's mainly why I'm making this video. I'm really trying to talk to people, and I'm trying to have my voice heard, and I'm really hoping that people actually watch this and have like a realistic dialogue, because I am very curious, because no one's going to talk to you like this but me. No one's going to actually sit here and talk to you like I'm talking to you. Okay? A lot of EverQuest people don't like this uncomfortable narrative. A lot of EverQuest people just want to stick their heads in the ground and say, it's like, it's fine. It's fine. You don't even worry about it. It'll be here. It's been here this long. It'll be here tomorrow. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Well, I am worried about it, because there are a lot of signs that point to it's not doing so hot, So I will say, with EQOA coming, and I don't think that they will be taken to court because of the situation with EQOA. EQOA is not copying EverQuest 1 or 2. And realistically, Daybreak does not give two flying shits about a PS2 port of a game. And the creators of Sandstorm have been working diligently to bring, where I would say we're at, like, we could be like 60% back to the original retail version. Okay. 15% of that is probably like their own things that they've put in. But, there could be a realistic thing where they change up stuff in the game. Okay. They change up how everything is done. They could put in new stuff if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could. I don't know how they would do that, but I'm pretty sure that they can. So I'm just saying, with this, it's revived a lot of stuff. It's brought a lot of people back. I fucking love EQOA. I was really sad when it went down, for sure. But I really want to know y'all's thoughts on what I'm trying to get at here. Because I just don't know why it's such an uncomfortable topic for us to actually dig in to why we cannot either move to a new game, or, because like, I've tried to play WoW. I have. But it is just unbelievably annoying to play for me. I don't know why. I don't know why it's such an annoying game. It just doesn't offer the same challenges. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't, when I put a point into my character on there, I feel like, but when I do stuff on EverQuest, I feel like every little stat point matters. I feel like the choices that you make on your character really do matter a lot. And you really feel that power growing in your character, and you feel like what you felt like when you were level 1, and how it's progressed, and how your character fills this niche, so I don't know. I'm rambling now, so I might end the video, but I just I'm trying to figure out what it is, where we went wrong, and why we won't change. Because there are other games coming out, but it's like, will they succeed? You know, this monsters oh god, what is it called? Mystery. Good lord, it was on my desktop. We played the beta. Anyway, I'm saying there's other games coming out. Okay, there's other games coming out, and I feel like, how can they succeed if we're not willing to move over? How can they succeed if we're not willing to move towards something? Why haven't there been a coalition of people who play EverQuest that have money that have simply bought the title out from under Daybreak? Why haven't why there's a lot of things, like, you're not telling me that there's not some rich guy out there who loves EverQuest just as much as we do, that wants to buy it out from under Daybreak and then do what they want with it. Like, because I feel like that's what happened originally with Daybreak. Because there's somebody who owns like 50 something percent of Daybreak, and that was their primary play, was to buy EverQuest. So, but anyway, I'm interested in your thoughts. I reply to all the comments. I'm gonna start putting more guides on here and transferring it from my old YouTube, and I'm gonna put new guides out on the website. I have been really sick, and I'm getting back into it. I've been working a lot. Just a ridiculous amount of stuff is going on. My wife is pregnant. We are having a boy. I know. Congratulations. A lot of stuff has happened. I was in the hospital. I almost died. Dude, it's been a wacky past like 6 months. Okay? But we're getting back into it. We're bringing all the stuff back here. We've made a new channel. We're going to grow this channel specifically for the EverQuest content. And we're going to update the website. And I'm still working on the map tool for EQOA. So we'll see everything that happens, okay? We'll get everybody sorted, because people keep asking me, like, why did I stop doing stuff? Well, life kicked me in the nuts hard. Life kicked me in the nuts real hard, and then also give me really great news and really bad news all at the same time. So, we'll see what happens. But stuff is winding down finally. I'm finally able to breathe a little bit, and I think we're going to get back to it and produce some really cool stuff for you guys. But yeah, I reply to all comments. So if you have a comment and you want to be heard and you want to actually talk things out with someone like me, hey, I'm willing to listen. You guys have a great day. Thank you for all the support. And boy, crazy stuff these last few months.